Shalom, 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 however you say this, all peace. Welcome to Vacation Bible School, and I'm your host, Brother T. And today we're going to talk about Neter and his lies, and Morpheus and his lies, and the whole lie that the Kemet conscious community, whatever you want to call it, all the lies that they're telling. But we're going to start with the first lie, or the latest lie, is that Israel stole they heritage or legacy or however they put it, right? So the other day you got Morpheus calling Sonetta talking about Jacob and Esau, and he want to say that Jacob stole his heritage, legacy, whatever, from Esau. Now Jacob tricked Esau out of his blessing. He bought his birthright. But the thing we got to see about all of this is that the what Morpheus and Sinetta are calling the heritage or the legacy is the Abrahamic blessing. And that's not what Jacob was given when he tricked Isaac into giving him Esau's blessing. And we're gonna see this. I got the scripture. I'm gonna bring all the proof out. But first, we got to see Morpheus make his claim, and we got to see Sinetta cheerleading for it. And we're gonna see both of them be wrong. And we're gonna see G-Con call in and Dr. Reggie call in, and Pastor Russ call in, and all of them be wrong. Okay. So let's get into the video. This is Morpheus. We're gonna start with Morpheus. He's setting out his claim right now. I got some notes here. Try to breeze through the video as much as I can. All right, let's see Morpheus.
I looked that one up. So when we look at this here, sir, we got the Hebrew Israelite descendants of a stolen legacy, fraud, scam, deceit, and lies. So what are we talking about? Let's go to Genesis 27 and let's look at the story here. There's a story here of Jacob stealing Esau's blessing. But let's go back first. Who is Esau? Who is Jacob? These are the sons of Isaac. Who is Isaac? Isaac is the son of Abraham. So according to the narrative in the story, Abraham passes down the covenant, the blessing, to his son Isaac, his firstborn.
Okay, so you heard him right. He said Abraham passing down the blessing or covenant to his son Isaac. That's what he just said. Okay, so I've looked at my notes to see what that video is called, and well, actually, it's right here too. It says, "Are the Hebrew Israelites descendants of a stolen legacy?" So we talk about legacy, right? And what he just said was the legacy was Abraham. What was the blessing or the covenant? The way he put it, the covenant that he passed down to Isaac. We know what that was. That was that was Abraham was going to get or Abraham's seed was going to get the land of Israel. That's basically what he's saying is that Jacob stole that blessing from Esau because he, according to their interpretation, Esau was supposed to get that. But we're gonna see if that's the truth right now, and when he get through talking.
Isaac is supposed to pass it down to his firstborn, which would be Esau. So Esau.
First off, nowhere did it say that Isaac is supposed to pass it down to his firstborn. This is their assumption. So we're gonna see why that don't even matter for Jacob's case, at least. We're gonna see that in a minute.
Is the firstborn who's supposed to be the inheritor, not Jacob, Esau. So let's watch this, so now let's go to Genesis 27 at the very top. And it reads,
before he he goes into that. Let me just real quick show you where Abraham was given the covenant, right? So if we go into Genesis chapter 12, Genesis 12, Genesis chapter 12, verse 5 through 8. All right. Genesis 12, starting at verse 5, right? It says, and Abram took Sarai, his wife, and Lot, his brother's son, and all their substance that they had gathered, and the souls that they had gotten in Haran. And they went forth to go into the land of Canaan, and into the land of Canaan they came. And Abram passed through the land unto the place of Sichem, unto the plain of Moreh, and the Canaanite was then in the land. And the Lord appeared to Abram and said, unto thy seed will I give this land. And there builded he an altar unto the Lord who appeared unto him. So he was in the land of Canaan. The Lord appeared to him. And in verse 7, he said, unto thy seed will I give this land. Okay. So that was when the initial promise was made. The promise was repeated starting in verse in Genesis chapter 13, verse 12. It says, Abram dwelled in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelled in the cities of the plain, and pitched his tent towards Sodom. But the men of Sodom were wicked and sinners before the Lord exceedingly. And the Lord said unto Abram, after that Lot was separated from him, lift up now thine eyes, and look from the place where thou art northward, and southward, and eastward, and westward. For all the land which thou seest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed forever. And I will make thy seed as the dust of the earth, so that if a man can number the dust of the earth, then shall thy seed also be numbered. Okay. So Abraham, well, he wasn't Abraham yet. It says he in verse 12, he says he dwelled in the land of Canaan. This is what we're talking about. Okay. We all know the land of Canaan is what turned into Israel later, but this is where Abraham was promised. All right. So now he gonna get into how he thinks that the blessing that Jacob tricked Esau out of is this blessing that was given to Abraham by the Most High.
Not according to me. Let's just go according to the story. One day, when Isaac was old and turning blind, he called for Esau, his oldest son, and he said, my son. Yes, father, Esau replied. I am an old man now, Isaac said, and I don't know when I may die. Take your bow, and quiver full of arrows, and go out into the open country to hunt some wild game for me. Prepare my favorite dish and bring it here for me to eat. Then I will pronounce the blessing that belongs to you, my firstborn son, before I die.
Before he gives him before Jacob tricks him out of the blessing, right? Listen to the blessing that he gave him. Listen, and you tell me if you hear Isaac bless Jacob, who's pretending to be Esau, if you hear him bless him with the land of Canaan or the land or the blessing that Abraham got, if you hear that, then let me know, because I ain't heard it and I ain't seen it. So let's just be very specific. You got to listen. This is very specific what he's being blessed with, and we'll see.
But Rebecca overheard what Isaac had said to his son Esau. So when Esau left to hunt for the wild game, she said to her son Jacob, listen, I overheard your father say to Esau, bring me some wild game and prepare for me a delicious meal. Then I will bless you in the Lord's presence before I die. Now, my son, Listen to me. Do exactly as I tell you. Go out to the flocks and bring me 2 fine young goats, and I'll use them to prepare your father's favorite dish. Then take the food to your father so he can eat it and bless you before he dies. But look, Jacob replied to Rebekah, but my brother Esau is a hairy man and my skin is smooth. What if my father touches me? He'll see that I'm trying to trick him, and then he'll curse me instead of blessing me. But his mother replied, don't let the curse fall on me, my son. Just do what I tell you.
Hold on. So right now, we are setting up, the mother is already setting up the scam and the plot, the trick.
Yep.
Okay,
yep. Here goes another trick.
Okay, exactly. So now, we have verse 14. So Jacob went out and got the young goats for his mother. Rebekah took them and prepared a delicious meal just the way Isaac liked it. Then she took Esau's favorite clothes, which were there in the house, and gave them to her younger son Jacob. She covered his arms and the smooth part of his neck with the skin of the young goats. Then she gave Jacob the delicious meal, including freshly baked bread. So Jacob took the food to his father. My father, he said, my father. Yes, my son, Isaac answered. Who are you? Esau and Jacob. Jacob replied, it's Esau, your firstborn. I've done as you told me. Here is the wild game. Now sit up and eat it.
Stop. This is where the lies begin. He's telling them that he's Esau, knowing that he's Jacob.
That's right.
So he's lying to his father already,
so dramatic.
Deceiving his father.
Yeah, because remember, Isaac is blind. He can't see.
Okay, so, all right, we're building this case up. Y'all got to hear this now.
Look,
and this is in scriptures. So we are not using no other books. We are using the books that they say that they follow. So let's go. Okay?
Hey, look, man. They really think they got you right here. Like, you see how happy they are? They're so happy to be wrong, though. And we're going to find out as soon as Morpheus get done reading. He had about verse 20, if you following along, you know, but like, they so happy.
Go ahead, continue, brother.
Exactly. So he said, here's the wild game. Now sit up and eat it so you can give me your blessing. Isaac asked, how did you find it so quickly, my son? The Lord your God put it in my path, Jacob replied. Second lie. That's the second lie. Watch this. Verse 21. And Isaac said to Jacob, come closer so I can touch you and make sure that you really are Esau. So Jacob went closer to his father and Isaac touched him. The voice is Jacob's, but the hands are Esau's, Isaac said. But he did not recognize Jacob because Jacob's hands felt hairy just like Esau. So Isaac prepared to bless Jacob. But are you really my son Esau, he asked. Yes, I am, Jacob replied. So what do we see right now, Sal?
You already
lied.
Yeah, he's lying. Hold on, stay where you're at. Don't lose your spot, your pot. I want everybody to take note that you know the book is against lies. The Most High is against lies. I don't give a damn if he was doing it for the right reason or the wrong reason. It is still a goddamn lie. Check. So
check.
He's telling his father that he is Esau to receive the blessings, knowing that he is Jacob. The question is, are the Hebrew Israelites descendants of the stolen legacy? That's what the question is. And
not
that's
the
what
legacy
they are on
that
trial
you talk
for
about
today.
If you think that's the legacy, then we're going to see.
Okay, we have verse 25.
Thank you.
Then Isaac said, now my son, bring me the wild game. Let me eat it, and then I will give you my blessing. So Jacob took the food to his father, and Isaac ate it. He also drank the wine that Jacob served him, and Isaac said to Jacob, please come a little closer and kiss me, my son. So Jacob went over and kissed him, and when Isaac caught the smell of his clothes, he was finally convinced. And he blessed his son and said, the smell of my son is like the smell of the outdoors, which the Lord has blessed. Now here comes the blessing, sir. From dew of heaven
see if you
and the richness of the
land
earth.
of Canaan in it.
May God always give you abundant harvest of grain and bountiful new wine.
Mm-hmm.
May many nations become your servants, and may they bow down to you. May you be the master over your brothers, and may your mother's son bow down to you. All who curse you will be cursed, and all who bless you will be blessed. Boom. So he passed it on to him.
Okay. What he said, he passed it on to him. Just to show you again, he thinks that Isaac just passed on the Abrahamic blessing. He thinks that Isaac just passed that on to Jacob because he was tricked and he meant to pass it to Esau. But like I told you, we gonna see.
Okay. Stop.
Look, dropping bombs,
1 minute.
Happy. Look at
So you telling me that the Hebrews that we got today is saying that Esau is the devil? Check.
That's right.
Jacob today is telling you no, he's not the devil because I'm willing to give him everything that I would leave behind. I will give him everything and have nations follow you, Esau. Yo, this shit is crazy. When you really go in and break down the scriptures, family, that's why I first started off by telling you, these Hebrew Israelites that talk, they don't know the Bible. Whenever you hear them say, oh, he don't know the Bible, he don't know the scriptures. No, man, that's a projection.
Bold claims, homie.
They really saying that to themselves. They don't really know this goddamn Bible like I do. Like we do. Go ahead, Morpheus. Right. Continue.
Yeah, so watch this out real quick. So the blessing that we just saw that Isaac passed down was really supposed to go to Esau.
Exactly. Go ahead.
Remember, he thinks that he's talking to Esau. So all this stuff that we talk about, Edomites and all that, no. All these blessings right here is supposed to be going to Esau. But watch what happens. So verse 30 now. As soon as Isaac had finished blessing Jacob, and almost before Jacob had left his father, Esau returned from his hunt. Esau prepared a delicious meal and brought it to his father. Then he said, sit up, my father, and eat my wild game so you can give me your blessing. So Esau comes in and thinks, okay, all right, let me get mine. Dad, pass that to me. But Isaac asked him, who are you? Esau replied, it's your son, your firstborn, Esau. Isaac began to tremble uncontrollably and said, who just served me wild game? I have already eaten it and blessed them just before you came. And yes, that blessing must stand. So he said, I can't take it back. Right? Well, he said, hold on. One side, he said, hold up. Who just gave me this food? I ate it and blessed him. And I gave him the blessing. He said, and it must stand. So watch this. When Esau heard his father's words, he let out a loud and bitter cry. Oh, my father, what about me? Bless me too, he begged. But Isaac said, your brother was here, and he tricked me and has taken away your blessing.
Wow, man. God damn. Damn. That is sad right there. I know how I would feel if I was supposed to get blessed by my father and my son my brother scammed me and got there and made like he was me. Family. Do y'all really deserve that? Or was it supposed to have been for Esau? That is the question.
So I guess now is a good time to point out, okay, look. Esau sold his birthright. However you want to say, oh, well, what would you do if you was hungry and all of that? And if the Most High ain't got no sympathy for him, I don't either. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, he sold that. That's number one. Number two is, yeah, he did get tricked out of that blessing. You know, it is what it is. Ain't no way around that. You know what I'm saying? And we'll see that the birthright the birthright and the blessing ain't the same thing. Because you see when Esau is gonna say, if he should have said that already, but he tricked me twice. First he got me for my birthright, then he got me for my blessing. So that's two different things. That's not the same thing. So just wanted to point that out, that yeah, he did trick him out of that blessing, but he bought the birthright. But neither one of those two are the blessing or the legacy. Neither one of them two are the legacy that they're saying was stolen, and we're gonna see.
Yep. So let's look real quick. So on 36, verse 36, after that, Esau exclaimed, "No wonder his name is Jacob. For now he has cheated me twice.
2 times. Right?
First he took my rights as the firstborn,
birthright,
and now he has stolen my blessing.
There you go.
Oh, haven't you saved me even one blessing for me?" So look what happened. So he tricked him out of it. Right, he tricked him out of that, like you just said, Sir. So, what are we talking about? So, when we go back to the title of what you have up here, "Stolen Legacy," or the Hebrew Israelites descendants of a stolen legacy, fraud, scam, deceit, and lies, then the answer is yes. So you know what that means, Sir?
No, it's not.
That means like the whole nation of Israel that come from Jacob are the descendants of deceit.
Oh, whoa.
The whole lot.
Man, that makes family.
So look how dramatic he bro.
I mean, I know there's some Hebrews out there who are probably mad and upset, but the truth is the truth. And what you brothers should be doing is don't go against what's going on right now. You got to admit that we are reading from the scriptures, brother. It's word for word. You see, you can make up all kind of excuses. You can act like God brought you to the side and told you what was really going on. Because the reason
let me say something about that real quick. Napashadah, because not even know, hey man, nothing against her or whatever, but she came on here because he was talking about this before, and she came on here saying, "Yeah, we stole it. Yeah, we stole it." I mean, yeah, she wasn't wrong. That blessing was stolen, but I think it was misleading because what they calling the blessing is not what the blessing actually is. So to say you stole it and not say what you stole and clear that up, I think that needs to be done. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know that everybody understands what this blessing is. It don't seem like it, but the blessing is exactly what Isaac said. Notice he did not say, "I'm gonna give you, I'm blessing you with the land that was promised to Abraham," but he did say that to somebody. It wasn't Esau.
Say that is because I heard apostles say some stupid stuff like, "Well, he gave up his birthrights." No, he did not give up his birthrights, brother. First of all, you got to understand survival. He was thinking in terms of survival first. Forget the goddamn the superficial shit that's outside.
Come on, son.
He wanted to deal with survival.
All right.
So he ain't just give him food. His brother.
Right, let's back it up, son.
Hold on. Which is a wicked and evil thing to do to your own brother is, if you give me this, then I'll give you some food to eat. His brother ain't had no food.
All right, look, that's Genesis chapter 25, verse 29 through 34, since he's saying he didn't give it up. And I know he's saying, yeah, he did, but he was coerced, whatever. But look, Genesis 25 and 29, and Jacob sowed pottage, Jacob sowed pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, "Feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint." Therefore was his name called Edom. And Jacob said, "Sell me this day thy birthright." And Esau said, "Behold, I am at the point to die, and what profit shall this birthright do to me?" And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he swore unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Look, he sold it. It is what it is, man. Ain't no way around it. He sold it.
Yeah,
Hold on. Hold on. Pastor Russ, I need you to put your phone on mute. Put your phone on mute until you're called.
All right.
Let the brother finish his
All right, okay.
All right, this is a pastor we got, so that's good. We got a pastor in the building. Go ahead, Morpheus, continue.
A pastor.
Yeah. So when we look at this here story,
yo, everybody's a pastor now, man. So like, to say you a pastor is like,
for 25 and also chapter 27. So 25 is how is dealing with how Esau sold it to him under the false pretense, actually, of getting some food because he was starving. And so Jacob held it over his head. You know, so that's like me saying to you, you dying of thirst, so you need something, water, food, medicine, or whatever. And I tell you, and I say, yo, I'll give it to you, man, if you give me, you know, your life insurance. Give me your life insurance. Right. And you're like, you know, so you're like, okay, no, man, I don't care. Just give me some food, man. I'm trying to survive.
And you're going to see, go click on it, it's going to say live. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, that's
yeah, man. You feel me?
Come on, man.
So this is what happened. Yeah.
Go ahead, brother.
Okay. Yeah. So this is how this part takes place. Right, so now when we go, we after going through 25 and reading 27, when we just read the story, now when we come all the way back, to the title of the show, are the Israelites descendants of a stolen legacy, fraud, scam, deceit, and lies.
Bring back the box.
In the beginning, I read what a fraud was. I read what deceit is by definition. I read what a scam is by definition. So you have to say yes. Yes.
Right. So
according to the story.
Hold on, man.
Right.
We got a pastor coming in. He's the first guest.
Okay, so look, Pastor Russ, we not about to do that. You feel me? So let me get into this real quick. Now, look, man. In some Bibles, chapter 27 is like one page before chapter 28. So all he had to do, all Morpheus had to do was turn the page, keep reading. All Sinetta had to do was turn the page, keep reading. All Pastor Russ had to do was turn the page, keep reading. Brother Reggie got on there later. All he had to do was turn the page, keep reading. G-Con got on there. All he had to do was turn the page and keep reading. So that's what we about to do right now is turn the page, right? And keep reading. So where he stopped at? He stopped at where is it? I think verse 38. It says, I'll just start 38. It says, and Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing? My father, bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above. This is Esau's blessing that he got, his consolation blessing, basically. He said, behold, thy dwelling shall be of the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. So first off, a bunch of people brought up the prophecy about Jacob and Esau, about the elder serving the younger and all that, right? So that some people said that God chose Jacob. I wouldn't say that God chose Jacob by saying what he said. Like, if you feel like he did, then fine. But I don't think that you can use the that elder serving the younger and all that. I don't think you could use that to prove that Jacob was necessarily chosen, because what God did was he gave a prophecy. He said, this is what's going to happen with them. He didn't say it's because I want it this way. He just said, this is how it's going to come. This is what's going to happen. Now, I know a lot of y'all will say, well, if that's the way it happened, it's good. That's the way God wanted to happen. Okay, yeah, that's fine. But I'm just saying, just going off of the text and everything, it don't necessarily mean that God was saying, oh, I chose Jacob. It just it happened. Now he was saying this is how it's gonna happen. So all right, that's number one. Okay. Number two, later on in this video, if you go watch it, Morpheus will ask, when did Esau serve Jacob? We know that the Edomites were paying tribute to Israel at one point, right? So there's that, right? But look at verse 40 though, or actually, where he says he'll take, verse 40, he says, and by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. So what that is saying is that he won't serve him forever. He's saying they're going to break the yoke. He's going to break the yoke of his brother off of his neck. So Esau ain't got it all that bad if you really, you know what I'm saying, really get down to it. All right. Verse 41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. So Esau is plotting on Jacob now. He like, man, you done tricked me twice. You know what I'm saying? I got this little consolation blessing, man. You got the good blessings, right? But Jacob ain't done getting blessed yet. You know what I'm saying? So he's mad now. You know, he wants to kill. He's like, when daddy's dead, I'm gonna kill him, right? He says, then will I slay my brother. All right. And these words of Esau, her elder son, were told to Rebekah. And she sent and called Jacob her younger son, and said unto him, behold, thy brother Esau, as touching thee, doth comfort himself, purposing to kill thee. Esau is making himself feel better by plotting on his brother, knowing that, all right, I'm gonna get him one day. I'm gonna get him. You know, so he don't have to feel so bad right now, because he about to get revenge. Verse 43. Now, therefore, my son, obey my voice and arise. Flee thou to Laban, my brother, to Haran, and tarry with him a few days until thy brother's fury turn away. So his mom is like, hey, get up out of here. He's tripping, stay gone until he calmed down. Until thy brother's anger turn away from thee, and he forget that which thou hast done to him, then I will send and fetch thee from thence. Why should I be deprived also of you both in one day? And Rebekah said to Isaac, I am weary of my life because of the daughters of Heth. If Jacob take a wife of the daughters of Heth, such as these which are of the daughters of the land, what good shall my life do me? And chapter 28, this is where I say all you had to do was turn the page. And Isaac called Jacob and blessed him. Isaac was not mistaken on who he was talking to. This blessing, ain't nobody tricked nobody. Isaac called Jacob. He said, Jacob, come here. So he knew who he was talking to. Isaac called Jacob and blessed him. This is the second blessing that Jacob is getting, not including the birthright. So I'm just saying, and charged him and said unto him, thou shalt not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan. Arise, go to Padan Aram, to the house of Bethuel, thy mother's father, and take thee a wife from thence of the daughters of Laban, thy mother's brother. And God Almighty bless thee, and make thee fruitful, and multiply thee, that thou mayest be a multitude of people. Now here is where we gonna find out who got blessed with that Abrahamic blessing that the so-called legacy that was stolen, that Morpheus so eloquently lined out. If you go back to the beginning, you'll see where he said that Abraham got the blessing and he passed it on to Isaac, and Isaac was supposed to pass it on to his firstborn. If that's the case, then Isaac is at fault, because we see right here in chapter 28, if you would have just turned the page, Isaac called Jacob and said, "Come here," and he blessed him. And this is verse 4. This is the second part. So go back to verse 3 real quick. He says, "And God Almighty bless thee and make thee fruitful and multiply thee, that thou mayest be a multitude of people, and give thee the blessing of Abraham." Verse 4, that's verse 4. "And give thee the blessing of Abraham to thee and to thy seed with thee, that thou mayest inherit the land wherein thou art a stranger, which God gave unto Abraham." All you had to do was turn the page, Morpheus. And you could have saved us 2 hours and some change arguing with people who ain't had no business arguing with you, because they didn't know necessarily what they was talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you gotta just, let the show go on, go sit down and do some research and come up with a good answer, and call in a different day, man. You ain't got to call in just because they own right now. You know what I'm saying? And you want to get your little word in. If your word ain't working, then leave it alone, man. That's just a message to all, all Israel and others who consider themselves children of God. So I mean, I don't see what the fuss is about now that we see that in Genesis chapter 28, verse 4, it tells you that Isaac gave the Abrahamic blessing to Jacob. He wasn't coerced. He wasn't sleepy. He wasn't drunk. He was just Isaac. He called Jacob and gave him the blessing. That's it. Esau saw him get blessed. Isaac blessed him. I mean, what more do you need, man? And so it's a point in this video where Neter says God is, what he say? God is using him. He might be using you, Neter. But you need to think about what he might be using you for. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you Kemet, I guess. I mean, you say I don't know, you kind of be acting like maybe you're not, but you are, sometimes, or whatever it is, man. But God has used, somebody from Kemet before. He raised up a Egyptian for destruction. So if that's the legacy you trying to hold on to, then hey, man, it's your choice. All praise to the Most High.